What's up, Guardians, and welcome back, Titans. We're back at it today with another Titan build that's about to see some major improvements to its performance, and could very well become the single greatest team support build that Titans can use during Revenant. With several changes being made to Titan barricades and other abilities, the Ursa Furiosa is primed and ready to dominate in Revenant. This exotic will make for one of the tankiest void builds that Titans have ever used, but it's also going to do wonders when paired up with Prismatic. This comes with the Ursa Guard intrinsic trait, which provides a couple of benefits to both the Unbreakable and Sentinel shield. Sentinel shield is one of the available super options when selecting the standard void subclass. It is not available with Prismatic. It's a roaming super that has a lot of versatility, as you can go around bashing your enemies' faces in with your Captain America-like shield. You could also throw a few of these, and you can even block incoming damage. This combination of defense and offense means that you're keeping your team alive while boosting their DPS. When blocking damage with Sentinel shield or with Unbreakable, you will generate orbs of power, helping you and teammates maintain weapon surges and other valuable armor mods. Unbreakable is an available aspect found on both the Void and Prismatic subclass. It converts your grenade energy into a portable handheld shield that absorbs incoming damage. You'll gain a Void overshield as the Unbreakable shield stays active, providing as much as an 80-point overshield that's going to grant you a 70% bonus in damage resistance. Enemies that travel through your shield will become disoriented, and because of the new barricade mechanics, enemies are now going to focus their fire directly onto your barricade, Sentinel, and Unbreakable shields. Once the Unbreakable shield dissipates, it explodes, and it will damage any nearby enemy, dealing increased amounts of damage based on how much damage was absorbed. The explosion from Unbreakable will apply as much as 2,300 points of base damage, and it will generate orbs whenever using the Firepower armor mod. And if you're using the Ashes to Assets helmet mod, you would be able to create additional super energy whenever defeating enemies with Unbreakable's explosion. When these new updates go into effect, Unbreakable will grant bonus grenade energy based on how much damage its shield takes, which will see us having our Unbreakable shield available much more often, letting Titans really dig into the role of an actual tank. The Ursa Furiosa will benefit our Unbreakable and Sentinel shields by reducing the movement penalty whenever holding these shields. This also channels the damage that your Unbreakable and Sentinel shields absorb, and it converts it into super energy. The more damage your shield absorbs, the faster you get your super back, allowing for more frequent use of Sentinel shield or Twilight Arsenal. Sentinel shield will provide as much as a 50% bonus in super energy towards the next activation of Sentinel shield, with the Unbreakable shield providing anywhere between 5 and 25% bonus super energy, and that's on top of the bonus grenade energy that it's going to create. This is an especially valuable benefit in activities where you're constantly under fire, as you can chain barricades, shields, and supers while generating a ton of damage resistance, overshields, and orbs of power for everyone. The Ursa Furiosa allows you to play a pivotal role as a tank and protector, taking on the blunt force of enemy damage while keeping your fire team safe. Since the Ursa Furiosa is compatible with both Void and Prismatic subclasses, we'll be taking a look at how each one of these will benefit from having this exotic equipped. We start with our Void subclass, where we have combined Sentinel Shield and Unbreakable with the offensive Bulwark aspect. We could have gone with Bastion to have a reliable source of generating a Void overshield, or we could have gone with Controlled Demolition to create volatile explosions. But we've chosen offensive Bulwark because of its bonus and ability uptime and bonus melee damage. When we have Void overshields active, including the one that our Unbreakable creates, our grenade abilities will have a 400% bonus in their regeneration rate. We're going to have a 100% increase in melee damage, and every melee final blow is going to add 10 more points onto our Void overshield. This works out really well with our use of Shield Throw, since it's going to provide its own 15-point overshield on each enemy that it strikes. When it comes to our preferred fragments, we're going with Echo of Persistence. This way our Void overshields and Devour will last twice as long. With overshields lasting longer, we're able to reap the benefits of offensive Bulwark's bonus grenade energy. We're using Echo of Starvation, so whenever we collect an orb, we're going to activate Devour. When Devour is active, every final blow is going to grant bonus health and grenade energy. granting us with as much as 20% bonus energy, which will help us have our Unbreakable shield back lightning fast. Since both our melee and grenade abilities generate overshields, we want to have both of them available as much as possible. This is why we're using Echo of Exchange and Echo of Provision, so that each of these abilities will recharge the other. With our Unbreakable shield providing 8% bonus melee energy, and our shield throw granting as much as 25% bonus grenade energy. The Void variant of the Ursa Furiosa is chock full of bonus ability energy, and it really encourages you to spam all of those abilities, including your super. And as you're terrorizing your opponents with dominating force, you're going to provide the rest of your team with an abundance of protection, making this one hell of a tank build for Titans to use. And with that, we switch gears to check out the Prismatic variant of the Ursa Furiosa. With Prismatic, we have the option of using the actual exotic or its spirit through the form of an exotic class item. You'll find the benefits of either to be the same, but you'll discover that when using the exotic class item, the Unbreakable shield wraps around you more than the normal version does. Since Ursa's regenerates bonus super energy, its spirit would pair up nicely with the spirit of the Star Eaters to grant you bonus super damage. But to embrace the tank-like nature of this build, I find that the spirit of the Scar works out much better for us in terms of survival. Defeating enemies with weapon types that match our own super grant restoration to us and nearby allies. So by using any void weapon, we're giving ourselves and teammates a steady supply of health recovery, which is an invaluable benefit in endgame content. When Revenant launches, the Diamond Lance aspect will be getting a few significant updates, and those are going to be very synergetic for us. When slamming a lance, you'll not only freeze nearby enemies, but you'll trigger a 2-stack of frost armor, which will grant us an additional 10% damage resistance, something we'll be able to pass on to our teammates, extending on our ability to keep both ourselves and allies protected. We'll be able to create diamond lances whenever defeating enemies with any of our abilities, including the explosion by Unbreakable, but there is a 7-second cooldown between their creation. When it comes to fragments, we do have the benefit of selecting 6, so we are utilizing Facet of Purpose, which will grant us with a Void Overshield whenever collecting an orb. Keep in mind that we will be able to create plenty of orbs whenever blocking damage with Unbreakable. We're using the Facet of Mending, so that when we defeat enemies with the explosions from Unbreakable, we'll trigger Cure, which grants us 60 points of health. When we defeat enemies with our Transcendent Grenade, this will grant a 2-stack of Cure instead, granting 120 points of health. And to those wondering whether or not we can use Unbreakable with our Transcendent Grenade, the answer is no. But nevertheless, the addition of Transcendency gives this build a huge advantage in terms of overall crowd control and damage output. To improve the uptime of all of our abilities, we're using the Facet of Awakening, which will generate elemental pickups whenever rapidly defeating enemies with light or dark based energies. With how we have this build currently set up, that's going to generate Stasis Shards and Void Breaches, which will grant us bonus melee energy and bonus class ability energy, allowing us to use our shield throw and activate our barricades much more often. By using Facet of Protection, we'll grant ourselves with an additional 15% damage resistance whenever surrounded by enemies. So when we are surrounded and have an Overshield active, we're looking at an 85% damage resistance buff. Add on the 2-stack of Frost Armor, and we're just shy of 95% in total damage resistance. When we strike enemies with Diamond Lance, we will give all of our light-based abilities a 10% bonus in damage, thanks to the Facet of Courage. We've also got Facet of Dawn, so whenever we strike enemies with our shield throw, we'll activate Radiance. Whenever Radiance is active, our weapons will deal 25% bonus damage, and have the added benefit of piercing barrier shields. When it comes to the best weapons to use with either version of this build, Void weapons are the obvious go-to. Having Destabilizing Rounds and Repulsor Brace would synergize very nicely. Weapon perks like Demolitionist would also be great to be able to reduce the cooldown of our grenade energy even more. As far as exotic weapons go, the Buried Bloodline, the Choir of One, the Graviton Lance, or La Monarque would all be powerful options that will provide several unique benefits. But you'll need to try to match your weapons up with the active modifiers and the available champion types for maximum efficiency. Whether using the Void or Prismatic variant of this build, you'll want to focus your character stats towards Resilience, Recovery, and Discipline. Tier 10 Resilience means that you take 30% less damage, and having high recovery means your health regenerates faster. And by focusing towards Discipline, we can give ourselves the shortest possible cooldown time of our grenade energy. We spoke briefly on a few armor mods already, and most of the armor mods that we haven't discussed are generating bonus grenade energy, like Grenade Kickstart, which is going to convert armor charges into grenade energy, providing us with as much as 34% bonus energy to help us maximize the uptime of our Unbreakable Shield. So between our armor mods, and clash tree options, we'll be able to generate a ton of ability energy, have our supers back incredibly fast, and provide ourselves and teammates with an abundance of protection, making this one of the most powerful team support tank builds that Titans could ever dream of using. We don't currently know what the new artifact mods will do for us, but we can count on at least a few of them bringing some significant benefits to either version of this build. And once we know what those new artifact mods will do, I'll be getting an update out to all of you. With that said, that brings us to an end of today's amazing Ursa Furiosa build, a build that will bring you and your team a ton of success during Revenant. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the Ursa Furiosa, the changes coming for Titans, and the current state of Destiny, so let us know down in the comments below. Thank you as always for checking out the video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. If you're a new Light Guardian, just starting your journey, or a battle-hardened veteran, just looking for a new place to call home, then be sure to check out the Discord link that's down in the description, and join one of the greatest communities in all of Destiny. And if you need to make a copy of either version of today's build, be sure to check out my Mobalytics link that's down in the description, where you'll be able to find those and a ton of other great endgame builds. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.